CT Sports Talent Show. My name is Christopher Saunders, and it's always great to be able to have a former guest on and somebody who had played in the Valley a number of years ago. Not too long though. A former Crosby Bulldog, always a Bulldog. Jason Robinson's with me. Jason, I appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate you. We've been doing this for a shoot. The first time that you interviewed me was 5 years ago when I was a freshman, and now look at us. So I really want to give you your flowers and appreciate everything you're doing for the NVL and Connecticut. Just keep it going. Definitely want to get more names out there, more people on the pod. So
I
yeah, definitely
appreciate
enjoy
that.
this.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Jason. It's crazy because in the amount of years I've seen basketball, right, and it has been too long since 2018. Typically, when I see a player the first time, if they wow me, I'm like, okay, this kid's going to be real. Obviously, when you were a freshman, you had the smile, which you still got. You had the charisma. All Jelly was came up to me first game for Crosby and said, "This kid's going to be good. Watch him." So I take his word as gospel. He's the
Yeah,
God in Waterbury. Obviously, it came to fruition. You're doing great things. Another kid that kind of wowed me was the Benjamin kid last year as a freshman. He
yeah,
really impressed me. Now he needs to grow. I mean, he's a freshman. He will. But
yeah.
what do you like? What's your opinion on his freshman year, man? Because he was pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely. I think he has the potential to be another 1,000 point scorer. It just depends how serious he takes the game, how much he dedicates the offseason to, just the little things and being a guard. There's a lot of great guards in Waterbury he can learn from, and Justin Davis, just to name a few Crosby alum.
Mhm.
But I've been in the gym with him. They play this Sunday actually in like the CIAC showcase.
Mhm.
Hopefully he does good, but we're in the gym this past Thursday just working on his shot. He got a little like it's a little hitch to it. Yeah,
Mhm.
he just gotta strain the elbow a little bit, but besides that, he got game. He got game. So hopefully, hopefully another star freshman out of Crosby, so hopefully he got some big things going for him his sophomore year.
It seems like every couple years, man, there's a freshman, sophomore that kind of comes out, right? Obviously, it was you. Then before it was Justin Davis. We can go down
Yeah,
the line. Now it's Benjamin. And
yeah,
what is it about the culture? And I always like to ask you this because I always, when I talk to Nevin or CJ or whoever, I just like to pick their brains about the Crosby culture.
yeah,
What is it about Coach Algelli and the Crosby Bulldogs basketball program that just every single year put you down for 12 to 15 wins, and at the very least, you're going to make some noise in the playoffs? What is it?
yeah.
How is that possible every
I,
year?
I mean, I think it's just a tradition of the legacy Argelli has, and the alumni help a lot, just mentally and just working on your game. You get to speak to someone that did it. Shoot, you got cats winning state champs, city champs, and you're just trying to learn from them.
Mhm.
So, and to give props to Argelli, he's a good coach. He knows the best talent to get a win. That's the most important thing. Like, everybody may not agree with it, but he's definitely gonna put the best talent out there to get you a win and
Mhm.
make the team better for sure. So no matter what age level, So
The one thing I've always respected about Algelli, and I respect a lot, is he is not afraid to chew on a guy if he makes a mistake, right? I saw it
yeah,
with Benjamin. I saw it with CJ. Not to say they were in the doghouse, but if they'd have made a mistake, Algelli's saying, get your butt over, you're sitting, and
yeah,
next guy come up. And
yep,
then he put you back in, and if you responded positively, then you kept moving. If you
yep,
didn't, then you're back on the bench again because you
yep.
gotta learn. I respect that because, as you know, as the game is changing, so is coaching. And not
Yep.
everybody coaches like that anymore.
No, no. I feel like coaching can get a little softer nowadays, just because you got to deal with the kids' attitude, how they're gonna react. Everybody hasn't dealt with adversity,
Hmm.
so you don't know how they're gonna react to. Oh, if you yell at them, they may break down, and you don't want the kid to break down for real. So, I mean, Argelli's always been a tough coach, a good mentor. So it's just someone like, all right, he's on you. It just shows he cares, and he just wants the best out of you for real. So, I mean, I wouldn't. like as a kid playing for Argyle, I would never take him chewing me up as a bad thing. I would just, yo, I'm ready to go. Just next play, just keep going, you know?
I feel like if he was chewing you out, you probably would smile. I just feel like you would smile, knowing you.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, did you know Jelly had to miss a game because he was sick? So DeVito had to come in last year, and DeVito won the game. And
That's
DeVito told me this after. He didn't tell me before, and he goes, "I've never lost a game filling in for Nick." I'm like, okay, gotta
Yeah,
respect it. And DeVito's another one. He's been coaching with Jelly for a long time.
yep.
Those two and the other assistant coach, whose name is escaping me, they've been together for a long time, and it's like, hey,
Coach
Mahoney, thank
Mahoney,
you.
yep.
Thank you. So, like having that camaraderie, you guys all know what to expect. You and now, obviously, you've moved forward now.
Yeah,
Like you know, each and every year, Mahoney, DeVito, Algelli, there's no difference. You just know what
no,
to expect.
yep. Definitely. I mean, DeVito and Mahoney are great coaches, at the JV level. DeVito definitely develops guys for our jelly to get, just like offensively, make sure they run the offense correct, make sure they're running the trap correctly. The trap is a important thing.
Staple. That's the
Yep.
staple for Crosby. If you know anything, it's other than shooting the three ball, it's the trap. If you
Yep.
can't trap, you're not playing.
So yeah, they definitely and Mahoney and DeVito definitely take time with their players just to work on their skill set. Do little individual workouts. If DeVito or Mahoney, you ask them to just shoot around or, hey, I need help with my form. Especially Mahoney, he helped me with my form earlier on my freshman year. Him and DeVito and our jelly just making sure my shot was straight, making sure I'm really getting under the ball. So, I give a lot of credit to them with my jump shot and stuff like that and their coaching abilities.
I want to turn the page a little bit to you, man, because obviously you've been a little bit travel now the last couple of years after leaving Crosby.
Yes,
Fill,
sir.
fill us in kind of what's been going on with you.
Yes, sir. So after my senior year at Crosby, I did a postgrad year at New York Military Academy.
Mhm,
Um, I enjoyed it. It was a learning lesson.
mhm,
I enjoyed my time there with Coach Bob Braun. So, just huge props to, New York Military Academy. They got some Connecticut kids that signed to them this season. So, but I averaged like around 12 and 4 at NEMA.
mhm,
I did pretty decent. So after that, I signed late to McCook
mhm,
because I was verbally committed to a D2.
mhm,
Stuff didn't work out, and I just had to find a school to go to for the next semester. So, Coach Hargrove gave me an opportunity. Came up to Connecticut, watched me live in the summer last summer, and gave me a scholarship on the spot right after. And then that was the only scholarship I had, so I took it. Went to McCook. McCook, it was a journey. JUCO's different. So there's levels to everything, and I feel like I showed that I can compete at that level, and I'm just gonna keep going at it.
mhm,
So, but now, I transferred to Roane State to
mhm.
D1 JUCO in Tennessee. So, hopefully you see some good things coming very soon.
I hope so too, man. And I want to hit on that Division 1 JUCO thing because you and I were talking a little bit about that.
Yes,
Obviously,
sir.
the journey from that is to try to find either a Power Four or a Group of Five conference to be able to go to. Now,
Yep.
obviously, you haven't played a game yet, so me asking you this may be kind of looking in the future here. But
Yeah.
would you be facing guys that were maybe at one point at the Division 1 level, but then kind of dropped either because maybe they weren't playing, maybe they got into trouble, maybe something happened, so they have to
Yeah.
come back down to kind of build up their stock. So
Yeah.
could you be facing guys like that?
Yeah, definitely. We play D1 bounce backs all the time. That's what JUCO's about, really. Um, a lot of a lot of dudes from the D1 level come to JUCO just to either play, they didn't get the opportunity they liked,
Mhm.
or they want a better opportunity and they feel like JUCO can help them get there. So yeah, we definitely face a lot of D1 drawbacks. So.
Now, throughout your journey, man, since you left Crosby, right? And it sounds like there were some highs, obviously lows as well.
Yeah,
You were a very mature kid in high school, probably one of the most mature guys that I've met during my tenure here. But
yeah,
obviously, anybody can still continue to grow. What
yeah,
was the hardest thing for you as you took that step into, young adulthood, both on
yeah.
and off the car, on and off the court? What was
Yeah.
most like, what was the biggest struggle for you?
I feel like almost the biggest struggle to me was when
Mhm.
was after my senior year.
Mhm.
Like the past 3 summers, I had to go through the recruiting process again, and that's really difficult. Just school and overwhelming. School's calling you,
Mhm.
you trying to figure out what you want. Especially after Notre Dame closed my senior year, that was really difficult. And I just really thought, hey, am I gonna play basketball again? Is this it for me? And I have a great circle, I have great people like you and like Mark Jaffe wrote a paper on me just saying like I
Mhm.
was available and stuff. Like my Twitter was jumping at the time once they heard Notre Dame was closed. So I had a lot of people just vouching for me. And I
Mhm.
really appreciate that for sure. But yeah, that was definitely my toughest time. I really thought I wasn't gonna play again. So
Do you feel like too being one of like the older heads, even though you're not old, you could
yeah.
still ball and put up 20 any given night, especially now, right? If you were to come
Yeah.
back. And at
Yeah.
the high school level, you could probably put up 40 because you've evolved and you've gotten better, right?
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you talk to the younger guys, right? Obviously, we talked about, you still have relationships still with CJ and Kinsey and some of the other guys, the younger
Yeah.
cats. Do you feel like when you talk to them, obviously CJ and Nevin have graduated. CJ
Yeah.
is now at Albertus. Kinsey's still trying to figure out where he wants to go. But you
Yeah.
have Benjamins. You've got Watson, right? Who what
Yep.
you realize Watson and Washington are related to Marquand.
Martin. Yep.
I didn't know that, and but now that explains it. And then
Yeah.
both of those guys are very talented players, but they're young. They're still
Yep.
evolving. Do you ever share your experiences with those guys like, hey, not to say you made mistakes, but like, hey, you can be as good as you want to be. Here's how it can be done. Do you ever talk to the younger guys like that?
Yeah, I definitely talk to them a lot. I'm definitely involved with Crosby teams this year. Whenever I'm home in the summer, just to
Mhm.
just tell the guys my journey. I'm cool with majority of them. They know I'm a good kid, and
Mhm.
I'm always willing to help. Like I'm always willing to tell my journey to
Mhm.
hopefully it helps you along your journey. Like hopefully my mistakes or what I did right can help you. So yeah, I definitely talk to them, just give them some tips, you know.
Do
So
they like what's their response when you're talking to them? Do they typically just listen or are they asking questions too?
they listen and ask questions, especially about my first year at JUCO. I mean, a lot of guys from the Connecticut area haven't been JUCO, especially, and if they have been JUCO, they haven't been to where I was at. I was in Nebraska,
Mhm.
so it was just a whole different environment. They asked about the environment, how's the hoops, how's the competition, stuff like that, so. But they're definitely engaged when I talk to them. That's the most important part. Like they're engaged, they're listening, they're taking hopefully mental notes. That's the most important part. So yeah.
So with everything that has gone now, and now that you've been able to find a home, do you feel like now, I mean, how long was it before you found your home after you decided to transfer? How long was that?
Coach Holt was actually one of the Coach Holt's the Roan State coach. He was actually one of the first coaches to hit me up
Wow.
and like he was the first school to give me an offer, and then I committed 3 days after. I was just like, no other schools giving me the opportunity that Coach Holt was giving me,
Mhm.
and they have a winning repertoire, like they have a winning record, like they're known to win in their conference, and hopefully we can make it to Hutch. So yeah, it didn't take me that long once I got my release papers and stuff like that. So it took me like maybe 2-3 weeks. So
Oh, that's not bad. That's good then. That's good.
yeah, yeah, I just wanted to make it. I didn't want to wait too long,
Yeah.
just. first offer, first coach to believe in me after everything that happened at McCook. So, I'm just beyond grateful for Coach Holt and his staff for believing in me for sure.
I feel like too. I feel like the JUCO portal or however it's called is probably the same as the Division One portal. As soon as it's like if you don't do, if you don't act upon it, if you're
Yeah,
going to go somewhere, it
yeah.
can be like because you got people flying like crazy.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Exactly. So
Definitely.
Jason, I kind of want to ask you too because I'm wondering about when you do because I do hope that you do find a home at
Yeah.
the Group of Five, Power Four, wherever you end up because that's
Yeah.
something that you have told me going back to Crosby. You want to play Division One, and
Yep.
even I was like, dude, that's going to be tough. Obviously, a lot of things got to go your way, the whole nine. You're
Yeah.
proving a lot of people I think who maybe doubted you. Not to say I doubted you, but
Yeah.
again. I hear that from a lot of kids, even that I'm like, dude, you're not a Division One player. But
Yeah.
if anybody had the opportunity to do it, it's you, and I'm hoping that you can be able to get there. If you are able to do that, how many years of eligibility will you have? The full four?
No. I don't know if the JUCO hearing is clear about the eligibility rule, but hopefully I'll get at least I think 2 to 3 years maybe. Hopefully.
Okay.
If I may be able to get a grad year, something like that. So 2 to 3 years.
Well, that'd be cool if you were able to be a part of a team that made it to, to the NCAA tournament, and then
That'll
we
be
could see
history.
you on TBS or CBS. I mean, again, you probably be a 16 seed, so it would have to be one of those crazy Cinderella things. But again, you never know. St.
Yeah,
Peter's did it.
definitely. Yeah,
St. Peter's did it, so why not?
definitely. It's not wrong with an underdog story.
No.
It's basically my whole life. So, it's nothing new to me. So,
So,
yeah,
Jason, as
definitely.
far as the Crosby, like obviously next season's, you know some of the cats we talked about, Washington, Watson, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Are there any other guys that I haven't even seen yet or mentioned yet that I should be kind of keeping an eye out for this coming season?
Um, I mean, you really named the core three, I think, for next year.
Mhm.
Kathleen Washington, Jeremiah Watson, and Julian Benjamin. That I feel like that's gonna be Crosby's big three. Kathleen was a walking double double. Jeremiah is a smooth lefty guard. Hopefully he can put all the two together because he has the physical attributes for sure. Just it's the skill wise and the mental he has to evolve a little more.
Mhm.
And Julian, I mean, we talked about him. He's going into his sophomore year. He's young, but
Yeah.
he could really make that jump from to what I don't know, like not being known as a freshman to being one of the best sophomores shoot in the NVL, maybe in the state next year. So hopefully he just really makes that jump. So
What's crazy about Watson and Washington is if you combine them, they'd be a Division One stud because
oh,
you
for
got the
sure.
height. I mean, you mentioned it. Watson's smooth, but obviously he's not a tall guy. But he's a
Yeah,
thick kid. He's
yeah,
strong. Some of the plays that he made against New Britain in their playoff game, he made some big free throws late to
yeah,
help them pull ahead. They were down for majority of the game. And Washington, like you said, he's a walking double-double. Now, shooting threes, I don't know if he should be doing that. I didn't see him make a three every time he attempted it. But
yeah,
he's very good from the rim to about just outside the paint. That's
yeah.
where his sweet spot is. Now, if he takes that next step, Watson takes that next step, and then Benjamin can continue to grow. That's a very strong core there and also a very young core.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think Kathleen is in for a big season this year. I don't know who's in competition for Billy Finn or anything, but I think he's one of the front runners in my opinion compared to his junior year. Just a double double. I mean, all he has to do is really is score more, work on his jump shot. He has the rebounding mentality. He wants to get
Yep.
to the ball. So hopefully he just works on his wing abilities, just being a wingman more than a post player. If he's able to knock some shots down on a wing, be able to knock down a right-handed pull up, going to the right, jab left, going to pull up, he's gonna be a great player if he's able to do that. So
Now,
yeah.
when is the Ireland camp? When's that going to be?
Actually, I've been working at Anthony Ireland's camp. So the first week was this week, ended Friday. Second week is this upcoming Monday. So
Nice.
if any kids want to sign up, hit Anthony's DMs or my DMs. It's a lot of young talent, a lot of great kids, and great stuff. That I feel like that's the most important thing because from Ant Camp, if I didn't go to Ant Camp and take it as serious as I did,
Hmm.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today. I feel like because I took the camp serious. I'm a kid from Bridgeport. Took the camp serious. Moving to Waterbury, no one knows my name. I got something to prove. Won MVP at the camp.
Hmm.
Met great people. Justice Wilborn, Anthony R. And Coach Argelli and Justin Davis. They helped me out.
Yeah.
Ant Ant put in a word to Argelli like, yo, this kid's a stud. He's going to Crosby.
Uh,
Justin took me under his wing, and then yeah, after that, the rest is history to this day.
See, I didn't know that you were from Bridgeport. I didn't know that you had moved to Waterbury. So were you nervous at all when you talked to Ant or Dave? Because Davis obviously was a well-rounded name, obviously.
Yeah.
And then Like, were you nervous at all during all that?
Um, Crazy story. I actually laughed about it with Argelli today. I know I wasn't nervous at all. I was just super excited for the opportunity. I was actually one of those kids. I was like, it's a new kid. We had little Crosby orientations. The first thing I asked, I was like, where's the coach's number? Where's the coach's email? Wrote Argelli a long paragraph just explaining who I am as a person and as a kid. And I'm now look at me, look where
Yeah.
that led me. So I'm just like, I try to tell the kids now, like,
Hmm.
don't take it for granted. Don't take this opportunity for granted. Don't take your teens for granted. Cause I mean, shoot, if I took it for granted, I wouldn't know where I would be. I just try to take everything as serious as I can, especially when it came to basketball, because it's something I love. You want to take something you love as serious as you can. So yeah, definitely. I definitely wasn't nervous. Though. I was excited. I was excited.
You know what? There should be every team at the high school level in the Valley and in the state should play what you just said because you and I could probably go on a 10-minute tangent about what could have been with so many players in the past
Yes.
before you even played for names that you probably don't even know, maybe you do, to the
Yep.
present when you were playing, and even some players over the last X amount of years. But
Yep.
because of stuff off the field or off the court or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's just like if you got that God-given ability, believe in it, trust it, but also like what you've done. You got to have to do some of the dirty work. You're going to have to put in some effort. You're going to have to do X, Y, and Z to get it accomplished and
Yep.
also be mature. And I think another thing too that helps you is that you surround yourself with good people, not quicksand. And I think that's the problem. Sometimes some people are just not savable. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I just try to have my friends, my brothers, I all the people I hang around, they play basketball
Mhm.
at or football, at the highest level or trying to reach that level.
Mhm.
And also, it's not also you also got to hang around people that want to see you win. Everybody doesn't want to see you win. And like I surrounded myself around people that want to see me win and I want to see them win. It's just you're feeding into that, and it's not a big circle. It's just it's a tight circle. you
Yeah.
know 10 plus people maybe, and just you
Yeah.
go from there. Just they're supporting you, you're supporting them. Like the sky's the limit. No one can stop you. Can't stop that.
Jason, I really appreciate you coming on. It's always a pleasure to be able to talk with you. Best of luck. Stay in touch and let me know how your season goes. When is your first, when do you head out there and when do the games start?
I officially leave August 1st, and we start workouts as soon as we touch it down for real. So I will let you. I'll text you. We have each other on Twitter. I'm very
Yep.
active on Twitter. I'll post some of my schedules. We'll go to some jamborees,
Nice.
juco jamborees. So
Very
yeah, we'll
nice,
definitely
man.
be in touch.
Hey, well, best of luck, buddy. Really appreciate you coming on. This was a lot of fun.
Definitely appreciate you, Chris, man.
Always. Now wrap things up here in the CT Sports Talent Show. Next time, stay safe. Remember, CT stands for Connecticut Talent. Enjoy, find them all. Enjoy your day, everybody, and be well.